Hello folks, it's me, Problematic VTuber, and I'm here to talk about an ever-changing and evolving term that has been on my radar for a while now that I find utterly fascinating on multiple levels. From a cultural standpoint, from a political perspective, from a sociological framework, this phrase is something that will probably be studied in the future, so hey, why the hell not? I'll make a video on it. But before we talk about this phrase, we gotta talk about somebody who is important to this very concept and the whole video. A VTuber that goes by the name TheBurntPeanut. By definition, this content creator takes on a virtual identity and behaves more or less like your average YouTuber or streamer. His online persona is a burnt peanut. However, unlike many other VTubers, there's this hint of personality that makes this account stand out a little bit more. He overlays his actual face holes, his eyes and mouth, over this peanut. This allows him to be a little bit more expressive than your average anime girl VTuber. But how's his content? It kinda sucks. Now I wanna make it clear, I'm not trying to be a hater. I have no intentions of bullying other creators. I'll just leave it at this. TheBurntPeanut makes bad content, and he is also a chud, and I fundamentally do not rock with him or anyone who is fully entrenched in his world. And also, he is mega cringe. And you might be saying, calling someone mega cringe is absolutely hater activity. No, it's not. I think that we should view the term cringe from a neutral standpoint. Every one of my favorite content creators is a little cringe. I'm also cringe. You're cringe too. Look at you. It's all about the balance of cringe and swag. With too much swag, you become unrelatable. With too much cringe, you become hard to watch. Everyone's scale of tolerance is a little bit different, and that's okay. TheBurntPeanut is popular because he catches your eye, taps into that part of your brain that makes you sit there and giggle while swiping through different Instagram and Snapchat filters. His fans, referred to as bungulators, are quite diverse from the looks of it, and I mean diverse in a very specific way. He has been accused of being an industry plant, not gaining popularity through organic means and or botting views, but I don't have an opinion on that at all. Actually, I do. I think it was organic. People who think otherwise underestimate how many people will look at this stream and will say, that is friggin' random, I'm invested. He has very broad appeal to 3 different demographics. 1, the skibbity toilet Gen Alpha children. Goes without saying, it is just eye candy for kids. 2, the chronically online brain rot Gen Z ball and gun gamers. And 3, small bean millennials, heckin' doggo pupper folks. And going back to that diverse comment, TheBurntPeanut's audience seems like a very diverse rainbow of bluey adults, Rick and Morty fans, and children.
Mr. Silly! A little bit of goop. A little bit of goop.
This is the most accurate way I can put this. This channel's fan base is comprised of annoying orange refugees who are now going through an edgy metalhead rebrand. And if my prognosis of that is correct, that spells distant doom for this channel, as the novelty will not last long. He has this chaotic edgelord brand of humor where he hosts recurring streams called Testicular Torsion Tuesdays and Slur Saturdays. It wasn't too hard to find clips of him actually saying slurs. I, of course, am not going to include them on this video because I don't want the video to get taken down. I'm pretty sure that part of the stream is like online dance parties where he sings along to popular songs. He plays the most popular games with massive appeal. He keeps politics out of his streams. Not really, but we'll get into that in a second. There's the whole vibe and aesthetic. It's very juvenile. There's somewhat of a theme with streamers with massive appeal wanting to stay silent on political issues, stay out of the spotlight, and do their things. I think using a platform to talk about important issues no matter what kind of content you make is a wonderful thing that should be celebrated. And I certainly don't think that anybody should go on some chastising crusade to make people feel bad for not using a platform in this way. And listen, it might be a hot take to say this, but the peanut VTuber who has a stream called Slur Saturday and an audience called The Bungulators is probably going to have dog shit takes, and the entire world would be a slightly more inhabitable place if he just didn't drop his political beliefs. But here's a free tip for anybody who is watching. you are always going to get into more trouble for using your platform to whine about people asking you to speak on social/political issues than if you were to just either shut your mouth or hire a publicist to tell you what you should say. If someone is asking you, hey, what's your opinion on Iran? You probably shouldn't say, I don't give a fuck about that, lol, stop asking me, can I have cheeseburger? And maybe, just maybe, you deserve every bit of trouble that comes from literally broadcasting your ignorance in such an unconstructive and dismissive way. And why would I bring this up?
News, yeah, no thanks. That sounds like ass.
Yeah, we're playing video games right now. Can you come back later?
I know you probably won't believe me, but I genuinely have no idea what the fuck anyone's talking about that.
Oh, here, I'll send you a DM. I'll send you a DM.
Word, okay, word. I don't check any of that shit. I play video games, I eat burgers, then I go to bed. Fuck everybody, everywhere.
Hey, while we're at it, let's see some more clips of this dude being a chud.
That shit, I'm using a slur. That shit, I'm using a slur. I hope those fucking die. USA is a joke. Buddy, we got a flying black Dorito worth more than the entire GDP of your country that could flatten your shit before you blink. Obviously, rest in peace. Big prayers go out to him and his family. Of course. Wow. What a tragedy. What a tragedy.
We are Charlie Kirk. So the Burnt Peanut is a Trump supporter. I mean, we can use some deduction skills, am I right? I'm not just saying all this to be like, ooh, let's cancel this peanut VTuber who makes juvenile content for children and adult children. I'm simply giving you context to the broader topic of this video. Here's a tweet. Breaking, the Burnt Peanut has been killed by an Iranian missile in Tel Aviv. Source, Israel. Now, this clearly didn't happen. I don't think that the person who tweeted this is an Israeli official. I don't know anything beyond what I just said about Burnt Peanut, but I'm pretty sure that he doesn't live in Israel. The larger scope of this joke isn't about him actually being Israeli. It's about his forced popularity paired with being shallow and uninteresting as a streamer or being spiritually Israeli. There is a lot to unpack here. First of all, YouTube. Lock in real quick, YouTube. I am not endorsing the term spiritually Israeli, nor have I ever used it at any point in my life. You can fact check me. I am simply reading the news here, okay? I have read the TOS and I swear up and down, I am not breaking any rule when discussing this topic. Please do not take this video down. I don't need to tell you all my politics at this point. I am not a fan of ethno-states. I am not a fan of colonial projects. I am not a fan of genocidal land acquisition. It is free Palestine all day, every day on this channel. Now, spiritually Israeli. Like I said, I don't use this term. I never have and I never will. And quite frankly, I've never really supported the use of it because I knew that weirdos were going to get weird with it. Even though it isn't really a hateful comment, and I'll explain in detail how it isn't. It started off a couple months ago as more of a statement or critique that was a play off of another anti-Zionist meme, although I'm sure that folks found a way to use it as hate speech in the beginning. But unfortunately, annoying online commenters are starting to adapt these memes into a new meme that sucks a lot of dick because it is a bastardization that is an actually anti-Semitic trend, stripped of the context of the previous trends to be used as just straight up hate speech. We'll get into that later, but I'm going to approach this chronologically. This term, I've seen it around for months and months and months. I've studied it and I have come to understand it very well. And while I'm sure that some folks are using it maliciously in an anti-Semitic way, I think it's doing something that is very interesting, something that is nothing new, like this exact idea is applied to certain other countries, and is first and foremost a criticism of the state of Israel, but also Israeli culture, or more accurately, the lack of it. We need to remember that this state is younger than the microwave, a fucking baby. It is a very young state. It is also a colonial culture. However much the people that are a part of this culture don't like that. Culture that emerges from colonialism is often criticized in that way. I mean, look at the US. People love to say that American culture, specifically culture that descended from settler colonials, is hollow, non-existent. You might think that's right, you might think that's wrong. It doesn't matter. Everybody fucking says it, and it is not taboo in any way, shape, or form to say that. I swear to God, Israelis join in other countries when they dogpile the US over this, which is obviously ironic. I am currently, as we speak, scanning Terminator style popular examples of spiritually Israeli and understanding colonial culture and the difference between being Jewish and being a Zionist. This doesn't really seem to be applied as an anti-Semitic insult. Now, am I saying this as an anti-Zionist description or critique of a concept? Yes, absolutely. That is what this whole thing started as and is supposed to be. Pro-Israeli outlets, of course, are saying the opposite. They are calling spiritually Israeli an anti-Semitic dog whistle. However, and this is a theme with many of the narratives coming from these folks, their entire argument requires that Zionism and Judaism are indistinguishable because they are applying observations of Israel's brand spanking new colonial culture to Jewish culture as a whole, which is not what this trend is doing in any way, shape, or form. The origins of this begin with a TikTok. An artist based in Israel who is first seen on camera wearing an IDF uniform. He made a video where he said, "I'm an artist from Israel and this is my art." He then proceeds to show the most uninteresting art imaginable, like just a fucking race car. "Hey ChatGPT, can you show me a picture of art, please?" All of what he showed was culturally empty and bland. But he didn't just say, "I'm an artist, here's my stuff." He said, "I'm an Israeli artist," as if he was about to put us onto some stuff influenced by a rich history of artistry that inspired his paintings. Cultural is not the first word I would use to describe this. So yeah, he posted this video, and this video was so hated that it created a trend where folks said, "I'm an Israeli blank, and this is my blank," where they just made some bullshit to clown on. People on Twitter were going crazy with this one. And also on Twitter, folks quote tweeted bad art or just reposted it and said that exact thing. Just a way to make fun of real pictures or bad art and Zionism in the same post. Now, the original artist from this video immediately took the video down because he could tell that everybody hated the video. Now, this is kind of the same thing as spiritually Israeli because both trends are saying the exact same thing. I did some digging, and this is the earliest use of spiritually Israeli that I could find. Matcha rave in Dubai. This type of thing is spiritually Israeli. Just gotta shoot this off at the holster. Matcha rave in Dubai sounds like fucking hell on earth. And influencer culture has a lot to do with this, as influencer aesthetics is famously lacking culture and liveliness. In 2010s and 2020s, Israeli culture has just swallowed this entire aesthetic of online social media consumerism. If modern Israel created a personified icon, it would be a Bitmoji. And this trendy corporate stuff was the beginning wave of this trend. Stuff like La Boubouz and Dubai chocolate. Much like this artist trend, a critique of both the thing in question and Israeli culture, calling both hollow and uninteresting. Also, institutionally and inorganically supported and having a high status beholden to financial support from other actors, which is, of course, a very accurate way to describe Israel. So for example, people called Taylor Swift's new album, The Life of a Showgirl, spiritually Israeli. Nobody is applying any hateful stereotypes of Jewish people onto this album or Taylor Swift. They are saying that this album is A, boring, and B, overproduced and obnoxious. They're also saying that it is inescapable, like there was an expectation to enjoy it. The same thing was said about the LA Dodgers when they won the World Series. They are overfunded, overproduced, and uninteresting. I don't even think the people of LA wanted them to win. So here's how all of this ties back to the Burnt Peanut. So like I said, he has been accused of view-botting, having gained success through inorganic means, and everyone thinks that he is bland and uninteresting. And if you open up the comment section of any video about him, whether it's praising him or shitting on him, you are going to get a bunch of comments like this, and this, and this. These are real comments that I sourced from TikTok videos, and trust me, there are hundreds of comments identical to them. So a couple months back, when I first started seeing this, it was pretty niche. Now it is not so niche. I am seeing it in many more corners of the internet, and it is starting to take on a new meaning. Look at this.
Israel, I love you, Benjamin Netanyahu.
So the thing about this video is that it is not a critique of Israel, or Israeli culture, or the Israeli government. Well, I mean, it is, but it completely boils everything down to this. Being dumb and annoying is equivalent to loving Israel. Like, that is what this is saying. Now, not wanting to get food with your friends is not applicable to anything I was just talking about before, and that's kind of the whole point. This is where all of this is heading. A criticism that continuously gets flattened to the point where if someone says something that someone else disagrees with, no matter what it is, they're just going to say something like, translation, I love Israel. And here's the thing. This Gallup poll right here shows that the general sympathy for Israel is starting to wane. This is a tangible change in the culture. We are seeing people shit on Israel completely unprompted in situations that have nothing to do with politics. I fear that many people are not applying an intellectual edge to this because they were just exposed to it, they misunderstand it, or they just want to simplify it. And when doing so, it starts to become reactionary and devoid of what grounds this as an actual statement. Where I am seeing this metamorphosis blossom is in the Burnt Peanut video comment sections. I'm sure it's happening elsewhere too, but this is the cautionary aspect of the video. I think it's great that criticism of Israel is becoming more accessible and perhaps easier to understand, but I also think that it's becoming easier and easier to misunderstand in other ways, which the potential for that is huge in this specific area. A lot of people are just starting to hate the Burnt Peanut. It's pretty easy to do that because, like previously said, he's cringe. People love to hate cringe things. And I'm already seeing people parroting this comment. Parroting this comment in the wrong way, in a concerning and genuinely anti-Semitic way. I shouldn't have to tell you that being opposed to Zionism and being opposed to Israel in general isn't just a left-wing position. It's also popular in far-right circles. I think we all know the biggest reason why a neo-Nazi might dislike Israel. And that is part of the problem when people repeat this stuff without having the framework to know what it means and what statement is actually being made, and perhaps they will find the wrong answer to that. And it very much does have the potential to contribute towards genuine anti-Semitism, which is absolutely exploding right now. And this is the bastardized trend that I was talking about. TikTok and Instagram has this function where you can post these little stickers on short-form content. Commenters are doing this thing where they're essentially doing the meme, I'm an artist from Israel and this is my art, but they do so with stickers. They say something like, yeah bro, I love the burnt peanut, and then they pair it with a sticker. So right off the bat, it's simplifying the previous trend and somehow making it more of a shitpost, as these stickers just get spammed in like every single comment section. Okay, here's an example. Here's this video. I saw this comment on this video. Your average spiritually Israeli comment, no different from the rest of them. Then I saw this comment. This is just a Star of David. Purposefully not making or just not understanding the difference between Zionism and Judaism. Not making that separation, right? Up next, we got a 3D model with a Wojak face. But the Wojak face is a caricature of a Jewish person with a hooked nose. That's pretty problematic. Oh, that's not. Then I go to this video, and we get another normal use of the term. This one is more or less just saying spiritually Israeli, but in just the form of a picture, right? Again, really simplified, which can be bad. And then we go to this sticker. This is just anti-Semitic. This is calling the Burnt Peanuts audience Jewish in a pejorative way. And then we get this. This is a Star of David with an LGBTQ flag in the middle. And this has a bunch of likes, mind you. This is not good. This is very bad, in fact. The people posting this stuff are, first of all, just being anti-Semitic. Secondly, they are not progressive in the slightest, but are probably getting likes from well-intentioned people who don't register that this is hate speech. And finally, these people don't understand this trend at all, and whether or not they actually give a fuck about Israel, Palestine, or Iran, are just handing ammunition to Zionists to continue getting funding, continue ethnic cleansing, continue bombing civilians. And remember how I said that I don't use this term spiritually Israeli or support its general use? That's because I knew this shit was gonna happen. Even though it wasn't making this statement to begin with, a term like spiritually Israeli is still very provocative, and it was only a matter of time before something like this happened. I'm just trying to tell y'all, be careful. Tread carefully. Very quick is this becoming glib and flippant. You don't want to be liking comments and sharing laughs with a literal Nazi. That's something you should probably try to avoid. Anyways, I'm feeling ready to wrap things up. I got a Patreon, some amazing folks over there who make the magic happen. Show me my patrons, and have a wonderful day, everyone.